me Z and T, cause I'm the best in the game. I got the fame, the style that isn't lame.
Hey, is there a cassette tape anywhere?
I sure do. This cassette is the best, I can attest. Best cassette in the east to the west. Yeah, I ain't a rapper. This cassette's dapper. I'm no capper.
Okay, do you mind if I take that off your hands?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, thank you.
No problem, bro.
And this is this week's Closet Classics.
Everybody, and welcome to Open for Discussion. Tonight's the big night where we're going to talk about Y2K, the dreaded Y2K, or it may turn out to be nothing at all. But we have three gentlemen here that are going to, they're experts in their field, and they're going to put all our minds at ease best they can. And I'm going to introduce them. We have Val Asbidian, Director of Strategic Planning at the State's Division of Information and Technology, and also Selectman at Bedford, correct?
That's right.
Okay. We have Bob Dorland, Vice President of Leahy's Facilities and Operations. And here's somebody everybody knows is Pat Mullen, our town accountant and Y2K designate. Right. I'm very happy to have you, gentlemen. And as I was saying, Y2K, and I'm just going to give the audience a little bit of information. For those of you who don't know, and I'm sure you all have heard about Y2K, its risk of disruption arises because many computers use just the last 2 digits of each year to keep track of the date. As a result, the change to January 1, 2000 could cause some problems to malfunction or shut down systems they control. Since computers operate everything from 9/11 call centers to air traffic control, utility grids, phone networks, and many more applications, such as in hospitals and state and town facilities, the stakes are high in both the public and private sectors. I stole that from an article written about you, Val, so I hope you'll appreciate that. Val, you're the Director of Strategic Planning in the State Division of Information Technology. But your main job these days is to serve as point man for the state effort to prevent any disaster stemming from Y2K bug. Could you kind of explain what you're doing and what's happening there?
Sure. One of my roles is to monitor the activities of the Commonwealth to make sure all Commonwealth agencies and entities will be ready for the Y2K millennium turnover. And the way we do that is we go out and we interview all the agencies within state government. In fact, all 3 branches of state government, including the authorities, to determine what they're doing, where they're at, what their mission critical systems are at, and track them. We also provide guidance in the sense of standards, templates, rules and procedures that we want to follow, and we monitor against those criteria. Our objective is to be able to cross the millennium without any material interruption in any services. So we expect that Monday, January 3rd will be a normal business day for the Commonwealth and its citizens.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that, and we'll get back on to the state in a little while. But Bob, Leahy's contingency plan will mirror the efforts, and this was what I read in a column about you, associated with the Class 3 hurricane. And Leahy is spending about $8 million to make
Correct.
sure their services will not be compromised when the clock strikes 12.
That's true.
Could you tell us what's happening there?
Well, we've been at this probably, I think healthcare in general got into the Y2K problem a little later than, say, banking and some of the financial industries did. We started about 1.5 years ago and did a complete assessment of the facility, the equipment, both biomedical and computer systems. And as a result of that assessment, determined what it was that needed to be replaced and remediated. And that process has gone according to schedule, and we're in the final stages of the testing of that remediated equipment. In addition to having spent the dollars necessary to buy the equipment that we need to be year 2000 compliant, we also have contingency plans in place to protect ourselves and our patients in case things don't go as well as we all think they will. And so if there is a power failure, we normally have generators that will run for approximately 24 hours. We will have backup fuel in place so that those generators can then run for a period of 3 days, 3.5 days. And that's the Category 3 hurricane comparison. If you had a Category 3 hurricane, you'd need to be self-sufficient for a period of time of approximately 3 days. And so that same scenario applies to all systems at Leahy. We can switch between diesel fuel and gas and electricity for heating our facility. We'll have extra supplies for a 3-day period for food and water and medical supplies.
Great. Okay. Pat, you're the point man for the town.
Right.
What have you done to assure that the community as a town will be ready for Y2K compliance?
Well, as Leahy has done, we've been at this for perhaps 18 months, first assessing where our vulnerabilities were and what our assets were and those that had to be changed. And we've been making changes as we've gone along. You have to remember, too, that the town is a utility provider. We provide water and sewer services, so that's in addition to safety services. So the water and sewer services were our first priority, and then the safety services right along with it. We've assured ourselves, and as late as this last September town meeting, we've appropriated some additional money for further backup generators. We had emergency generators on site for those locations we need. Just to be safe, we're putting mittens over the gloves now. We're getting backup generators and putting them on trailers so that we can take them around to those locations that may have a problem with the generator on site. So that should take care of our water and sewer capability. We have an emergency command center at the police department, which we are starting to man noontime on that Friday, the 31st, and we plan to man for a 3-day event, as Bob has mentioned. That's sort of the rule of thumb that everybody's working under. So we'll keep that staffed, fully staffed, through Monday afternoon. That emergency command center is also a command center for the public utilities, Boston Gas, Boston Edison, who can come in there and utilize the phone lines, and all their plans are on file there. So we're planning, like Bob, for, we're saying, a major snowstorm.
Okay.
Our biggest exposure, and I think exposure throughout the state, is the loss of electric power. That's everybody's concern. We think the telecommunications will take care of itself. They have enough emergency backup there. If that fails, we have our own backup communication systems here in Burlington. We can utilize our fire alarm boxes, etc. So we're planning on a power outage. If that does not happen, then we're in relatively good shape. We have identified a couple of facilities, the Human Services Building and the Francis Wyman Middle School, Francis Wyman Elementary School, as backup facilities in case we need to get people out of their home and into a facility to get warm. We're not planning on serving meals at the moment, but would be able to get meals if that case came about, that we could get the kitchens going in the schools. So we think we're in good shape. We'll be notifying the public a little bit more. We've already sent out a little reminder to people that when we had a notice on our pickup for yard waste, that we're looking at this and we're continuing to plan, but we'll start issuing more definitive things in the during November, telling people what they should look out for. And Massachusetts Emergency Management has a nice little brochure they're handing out, and the American Red Cross has a good one also. So there are all sorts of facilities out there.
There's a lot of things I think that people are getting in the mail. I mean, I don't have half of what's in here,
Right.
but I do have. Mary, could you zone in on this, because this is what Bob was talking about. People that see the town of Burlington Fall 1999 leaf. Can't see it. Okay. Can't see any of this.
It's probably on people's refrigerator right now.
Okay. Anyway, we're getting a lot of things in the mail from everybody. Even I got one which I thought was really interesting from Stop and Shop. Want to make sure that we're ready for food. Oh, now I can hold them up. Okay, we're getting all this. And we're getting this from the town, so make sure that you do put it on your refrigerator. Oh, thank you. Usually they write on a piece of paper or blackboard that there is a phone call. But tonight I'm getting like charades here. Okay, we have a phone call. Hello.
Oh, hi, Arlene. This is Steve. How are you?
I'm very well, Steve.
I'm really enjoying tonight's show. I've been looking forward to this Y2K show, as you can probably imagine, for
I
a
know you
long
have.
time.
Okay, here it is, so go to it, Steve.
Yeah, I have a few questions for your guest.
Go ahead.
All right, first of all, the gentleman from Leahy Clinic. The healthcare industry has received an awful lot of bad press about not being prepared for Y2K. My question is, why has that happened, and how is Leahy Clinic any different?
I think the bad press resulted from the fact that healthcare was late getting into the assessment and remediation process. I can speak for Leahy. I think we've made tremendous strides and have caught up with that effort and are in a position to be able to ensure that we will be able to provide the quality care that we provide now under practically any circumstance for a reasonable period of time.
And does Leahy have a Y2K readiness disclosure statement available?
Yes, we do.
And is that up on the web, or is that generally available?
It's available by mail, and we have sent it out to, as are all companies, we're being deluged with requests from other people for our Y2K readiness status, and that status is available to the public too.
All right, I also have a question for Mr. Mullen. Mr. Mercier was on this show, and I asked him about when there were going to be town-wide meetings. And I'm not sure if Arlene recalls this or not, but I believe he said the September-October time frame. And here it is, second half of October, and we still really haven't seen anything yet about, I know Lexington's been having these meetings the last 6 months, and maybe Mr. Spedian could comment on this. What is happening at these town-wide meetings? And are we in Burlington losing out on the fact that here it is late October, we still haven't had any yet?
Yeah,
No,
I'll have to say that Bob did say that, but evidently he didn't mention it to you, Pat. Is
No,
that
well, but
everybody's so...
we're not going to have townwide meetings.
No.
It's not.
So is Lexington wasting their time by having them?
No, each community has done things differently. Arlington, for example, opened up a website yesterday with all sorts of wonderful things regarding Y2K and the centennial changeover. Each town is doing it a little differently. We're choosing, rather than having town-wide meetings, into starting a mailing campaign within the next month. Our concern is that we want to be sure that the residents are aware that the town is capable and ready to handle any Y2K emergency. At the same time, we don't want to alarm any residents. So we'll be doing a mailing of suggested things that residents may want to look for, and our stance is that it would be preparing, for example, for a snowstorm rather than preparing for a major power outage. But we'll be doing that through mailing rather than having town-wide meetings, because I think we don't want to engender any fear in here. There's concern, but not fear.
All right, I just want to comment on that. You were talking about the town-wide mailing, and I guess the first one is the bottom of this leaf collection pamphlet. And it just seemed kind of, I know the town is supposedly doing a lot and making a lot of preparations, but it just seemed like, given the importance of Y2K, I can't understand why it was kind of relegated to the bottom of the leaf collection. It just didn't seem to be given the importance that I think it should be.
Well, if I can answer that. That was only an opening gambit to tell you that we're interested, and it's also...
I'm afraid a lot of people might miss this, I guess.
Well, as I said to Arlene, I hope everybody is looking on their refrigerator right now, because that's where it usually is, and that's where it is in my house. It's a residential town-wide mailing. It's an easy thing to do. We've been quite vocal in both at town meeting and at the selectmen's meeting, so we're getting the word out through Access Television here and the local newspapers. So.
All right, it seems to me, I called the town administrator's office this week, and I was told by Mr. Rittenberg there were going to be meetings in November. So it seems like maybe people aren't clear whether there's going to be meetings or not. Is that
well, I think the extent, I don't know how public the meetings are going to be. These are staff meetings that are going on right now.
So they're not really open to the general public?
No, if we want to address through the public or to the public, we'll address it through the selectmen's meetings.
All right, and I was just wondering, where are you sure your guest's going to be on December 31st, January 1st, 2000?
That's a good question. Where will you be?
Arlene, don't I always ask good questions?
Yes, you do, Steve. You ask very good questions. Excellent.
All right, and on that, I'll just thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Steve. Appreciate it. Just getting back to the hospital thing, I think there's guides that people have to take into their own hands also. And I don't know whether Leahy has given anything out as far as, let's say, to recommendations like refilling prescriptions, anybody that has like a pacemaker or something that would be affected. Is there anything on that?
No, I mean, I think our approach to that would be similar to the towns, that if you knew there were a hurricane or a 3-day snowstorm or some event where it would make it difficult for you to travel, then you would want to take whatever steps were necessary to get you through a 3-day period. On the other hand, what you don't want to do is have people creating a Y2K problem by dint of the fact that we create our own shortages and our own problems by overreacting. And I think that's our biggest exposure, is that people overreact to the potential problems that may result on January 1st.
You wanted to say something?
Yes, the pharmaceutical industry has geared up for Y2K as well, and for the most part, the industry has a backlog or a supply of drugs around the country for a period of about 60-day supply that is in the pipeline. I think the industry basically says that for people who are on medication, the normal rule is, not just for Y2K or for a hurricane, but just the normal rule is always that when you get down to about 5 to 7 days of a supply of your medication, you should get it refilled. And Y2K is no exception. So we advise everybody not to hoard medication, because that really disrupts the process. But when you get down to about 5 days or 7 days of what you have left, we recommend strongly that you get a refill so that you're prepared.
Yeah, and I agree with you too, is that what's happening is, and if you look at the things, and like I say, the newspaper articles, people are getting mixed messages. And I think that, you know, that's what probably will cause some of the problems. And you're right, I think that people have to think logically and everything else. From what I read about the medical, you were exactly right on the 5 to 7. These are things that we should do anyway. But for those people who do not do it, you had better do it. I mean, those are things that you should do it. I mean, it says keep a first aid kit stocked. Well, you should have that in your house anyway, but those are one of the things in case there's an emergency like that. And keep a contact, you know, of your medical facilities, and, you know, just document everything. Keep all your documents there, your phone numbers and all that stuff.
Arlene, one of the things that's become apparent to us when we've gone through this several meetings, and I mean several, multiple number of meetings, is that communication is the most important thing, and especially in neighborhoods, is that if a neighbor would talk to the neighbor next door and say, what are you doing? You know, do you have an emergency generator? If so, could I come over to your house if something happens? But if you have an emergency generator, please be careful of where you store the fuel. You know, I mean, every time we have emergency generators going on, we have problems with fuel storage, or we have problems with the exhaust for them. But neighbors looking out for elderly neighbors in their neighborhood, just sort of an informal network, or knowing who's around and who's going to be around on December 31st or January 1st, and that they can count on the neighbor going down the street that if something happens, they can call them or go down and knock on their door, things of that sort. But as we've all said, we don't expect anything dramatic to happen. But just like you do in a snowstorm, if you're more bodily, able-bodied than your neighbor, you'd go help shovel them out.
Right.
Well, if the lights go out, you may want to go over there with your flashlight and see how they're doing, things of that sort. So.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's one of the things that everybody should have is plenty of flashlights.
Yep. Just bought
Plenty
2
of
batteries today.
Yeah, I mean, I bought this great big thing that has about 4 flashlights and all kinds of batteries for $9.99 at Bradley's. I mean, just to have it. You're going to use it eventually anyway. But those are the things that people should be thinking about. People, you know, stock some water. You don't have to stock a year's, but I mean a week's. Make sure that you have cash. You know, don't draw all your money out.
Not too much, yes.
Right, don't draw all your money out because that's ridiculous. And I think you've just got to read the sense and talk to the people, and I'm sure, Pat, they can talk to you.
Yes.
Give you a call, or call at Leahy, call you,
Yep.
and, you know, find out what's going with the state and everything else. Now, the state, when I had read it last, they would have you gave and this was June, I think. And if I could get a shot of this article. That's a great picture of you. Very distinguished looking. Look at this. Y2K point man, okay? In this article, I think further down on the second page or something like that, it mentioned the MBTA didn't get a good mark. Have they corrected their?
Yes, they have. One of the objectives of what we do is we monitor activities and report it and encourage that there be compliance. Right now, in fact, we just testified before the Science and Technology Committee of the state legislature on Tuesday, and we reported that the state is 98% compliant in every area, all the areas that we track, and we track 10 different areas of compliancy. And now we're more focused on contingency planning and testing our contingency plans to make sure that we're ready to handle anything that might occur that we have not addressed already. MBTA is doing fine.
Okay,
They
good.
have enough self-generating capability so that they can keep their system running for over 24 hours. So there's no problem about clearing out Boston if we needed to, if there was any real serious problem. The issues that had come up before were taken care of, and they're doing fine.
Okay, and you're keeping tabs on everything right now.
We're
as
keeping
we go
tab of
along.
everything. Yep.
Yeah, in the 911 situation should not be a
No.
problem.
Bill Atlantic handles 911 for the entire East Coast,
Right.
so all the states are more or less in the same place, except that Massachusetts has E911, which is the advanced or enhanced E911. Our 911 system is a little bit more sophisticated than anybody else's along the East Coast. In fact, I think ours is the second largest after New Jersey's.
Oh.
And unlike most other states, the maintenance and operation, the maintenance of the 911 system is all entrusted to Bell Atlantic. So the state has, in effect, contracted with Bell Atlantic to do the whole thing. They are now compliant. In fact, we were the first state that was totally Y2K compliant. The target date was June 30th, and I think we beat it by about a week. So the entire system, which are the logs, the equipment, the switches, the backup databases, the locator files that display your address when you call in, that's what E911 does, are all Y2K compliant. And Bell Atlantic also has a contingency plan in the event that they should anticipate or get any problems.
Okay, now take off your state hat and go to Bedford as a selectman.
Right.
What's going on there?
Bedford is doing things similar to what Burlington is doing.
Okay.
We have reported at a selectman meeting, the subject was on the agenda twice, and we had town officials come and report to us as to where they were at. We have a quarterly newsletter that goes out. It's called the Byline. And the last issue that came out was devoted primarily to the Y2K issue, and it goes to every citizen. We've also had meetings in town. There was a meeting at the Council on Aging where I appeared, plus the fire chief and police representative and the Y2K coordinator for the community, so we could explain to the people via a personal discussion as well as through the newspaper that we're in pretty good shape. In addition, DLS, the Division of Local Services within DOR, is visiting or has contacted every community in the Commonwealth to review their emergency plans. Every community has to, by law, have an emergency plan. And that process was just concluded about a month ago.
Okay. Will we be better off getting cell phones, or what will happen with cell phones? Any answers on that?
Well, cell phones are dependent on electricity like anybody else.
Right.
And their towers. We don't expect, first of all, there to be any serious problems in either telecommunications or electricity.
Okay.
The electric industry is doing fine. We have more than enough generating capability. In fact, we have twice the amount of generating capability for power than we normally use in the winter. We can generate like 26 or 27,000 megawatts of energy, and around New Year's time we consume somewhere in the order of 10 to 14,000 megawatts. So we've got plenty of energy available. And I think from the exercises we've done, the electric utility industry has had 2 drills where they've simulated problems, particularly in the communication area. If communications go down, alternate communication, and they have been successful. In addition, the industry has tested the components of the system and has in the laboratories as well as in the field. And one of the things that we were most concerned about was embedded chips. And we find that the embedded chip problem is significantly reduced. The exposure is much less than what we originally thought. We were concerned that there would be a lot of embedded chip problems,
Right.
but it's turning out to be somewhere in the order of 1 to 2%, at least in the electric industry and in other places as well. So we feel a lot better about that.
Well, that's good to hear. The other thing, too, is I'd like the viewers to know is that, you know, whenever anything like this happens, there are always scams. So this was issued by Central Bank, and it said the year 2000 date change has spawned a slew of scam artists trying to scare people out of their money. And here's one such scam, how it works. A caller claims that your bank, in response to Y2K, is asking customers to transfer their money to a special account, which will ensure safety through the date change and conversion of all computer systems. The caller then asks for your account numbers and authorizations to transfer your money to the special account. Well, number one, you do not give your account number to anybody over the phone, ever, ever, ever. You do not give your Social Security. You do not do anything unless you call that bank yourself and ask who is given the call. Do not do anything like this, because, you know, that's what people are waiting for, all those people that are trying to make money off of people that are going to get nervous. And I think what these 3 gentlemen are trying to tell you is that everything is going to be okay, that they are doing the job and they are watching out. And that's the reason for the show tonight, is to let you know that do the things you would normally do, like they said for a snow song. Get some extra food in the freezer, you know, get your pills, get this stuff, get that stuff. Take care of your doctor's appointments. Now, on the hospital again, Bob, would it be wise not to schedule an operation around that time, or what? What are they doing as far as that, saying, you know, well, let's wait the 3 days and not schedule anything that's not necessary?
It's because of the New Year's Day weekend, it's
Right.
unlikely that elective surgery will be scheduled
Okay,
during that
good.
time period anyway. It would only be emergency surgery that would be scheduled. You know, the fortunate part of New Year's is that the hospital is relatively quiet. The census is traditionally low. And so the kinds of things that we would be doing, we would have to do. We wouldn't elect to do them over that time period.
So that's the good part about
Right.
it.
Right.
Now, we're talking about the fire and the police and all that too. And I know that you've had meetings with all of them.
Right.
But I think that, you know, what Steve brought up and what Val said is maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a meeting at the Kelly Murray wing, just to let
Right.
people that, especially, you know, if they're not getting a lot of newspapers, a lot of people don't get the newspaper,
Right.
a lot of the elderly and things like that. So if we had a meeting to kind of let them ask the questions, because I'm sure that a lot of people are trying to, you know, put the fear of everybody in them. And I think that that might be helpful.
Well, you know, through our appearances at the Selectmen's meeting,
Right.
making people aware of this, we've fielded several calls. I won't say
Okay.
quite a few, but several calls from individuals asking like questions about their sewer backup and what would happen if one event or another happened. So I think we were able to assure them. Yeah, point well taken. We may want to schedule something as a drop-in type thing
Sure.
if people wanted to come in, similar to what we've done before prior to a town
Right.
meeting. Where there's
Exactly.
an issue that touches everybody. But we felt that what we really wanted to get across to folks was that this is something that hopefully will just be a small event, if anything.
And nothing,
And perhaps nothing
Yeah.
will happen.
Right.
You know, those of us who normally don't wear beepers will be wearing beepers that weekend, because that's.
I'm not going to wear a beep.
Well, unfortunately, I think I will be. But
You will be.
but you know, as Val has mentioned, I was quite encouraged when I went to a meeting of the utilities with Boston Gas and Boston Edison, and the compliance that they had to do to the federal government, and that as of June 30th, they were totally compliant. So we came away from there feeling
True.
very, very encouraged as a municipality, because we're responsible for getting the water and sewer services out, that the electric utilities were in good shape. And as Val has mentioned, they were testing their contingency plans then and their emergency control centers and getting up alternate means of communication. So this is last April or so. We're coming
Right.
away feeling really encouraged.
Well, I'm feeling encouraged the more I read about it, and I think the more educated you get, and having you three on the show is great because people are now talking to the experts in those fields
Yep.
and can get a warmer feeling than some of the things like, the other thing you have to be careful about is, let me tell you, is you can go on the web and you can get all kinds of information on Y2K, and, you know, I would not advise it. The only reason I did is I was looking to do some research for the show. But I think we're better off talking to the people, like people that are here tonight, that are really on top of it. On the web you can get a lot of things that are misleading, but I think that, who should they contact at the hospital? If somebody's worried about something, or, you know.
They could call me. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
All right. Do you want to give your number, Bob?
Sure. It's 744-8954.
Okay. And how do they get in touch with you, Pat?
Okay, if they want to get in touch with me, it's 270-1614. And for New Year's, it'll be 270-1914.
Ah.
That's the Emergency Command Center.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Gee, we have our own command center. This is exciting.
Well, it's the back room
I
of the police
guess.
station. But no, it's
Yeah.
it's literally a command center that, as I say, we have trunks that are there with Boston Edison plans, Boston Gas plans,
Great.
Bell Atlantic plans for all the wiring throughout the town. Our water and sewer division works out of there, so and we man it with about 30 phones. So everybody gets together in one spot, similar to what the state has out at their command center in Framingham, their bunker. This is sort of a mini one in Burlington, and we found it very helpful. We were chatting before the program about when we had the water shortage here in Burlington through when the pipe burst, that
I
we
remember
activated that, and it was really helpful. It was really helpful.
Well, I think the good thing, too, is I can remember that there was a problem on my street. I wasn't so concerned for myself, but I was concerned about seniors. It was during the midst of the summer, and did call, and they said that they would deliver water
Yep.
to the people. So, I mean, I think that that is something to think about.
We've got tankers on standby just in case we run out of potable water, 2,500-gallon tankers. So.
Well, what I feel comfortable about more is talking about the electric company, and that you people all seem to think that, you know, they'll come through, because I said, my feeling was if there was one person that may not, it might be Boston Edison, but hopefully that, you know.
No, that's not to say that there may be a scattered outage.
Oh, sure.
Somebody may hit
Sure.
a telephone pole
Right.
and knock out
Yeah, that
a
happens.
transformer.
That happens.
So if you know, my area of town, for example, seems to blink off and on frequently.
Right.
If you do get off for an hour or so, don't panic. It's probably just a local outage, and it's nothing dramatic.
Just stay away from elevators. Don't get in an elevator. That's all. Do you want to give your number, Val, at the state in case? Or?
People can get in touch. We have a website at the
Okay,
state
good.
that has a lot of information, and it also has the capability of doing email. So
Oh, good.
the state website is www.state.ma.us/Y2K. And it'll tell you about emergency preparedness, individual preparedness. It'll tell you the status of every agency. We have a color chart that lists
great.
all the agencies and their status in all of the areas. The testimony that I spoke about earlier is up on the website. There's also a survey of all the 107 hospitals in the Commonwealth that we've talked to and surveyed. That's up there as well, plus a lot of other information as to how to look at your own PC and make sure that it's Y2K compliant and all the rest of that. So I invite people to look at it. There's also an ability to send an email to that website, and it comes to my office, so we will be able to respond to it. I think the main concern that we have, by the way, we do expect there'll be some problems.
Sure.
This is too massive of an issue. When you think about it, it's a problem that's affecting the entire world,
Right.
and everybody in the world at virtually the same time. So it's inconceivable to me that we won't have at least one problem. We'll have several, I suspect. Not in this country, they won't be too bad. I don't expect any major problems. I don't expect major problems with utilities or communications or transportation or water or the basic infrastructure. But there's likely to be some small computer problems along the way, and we will be able to deal with them. The whole effort now is to be able to come to a point where we can manage the situation. And I think we're reaching that point now. And our first goal was to make sure that we're Y2K compliant by remediating our work, our products, just as the others have talked. The state has been doing this for 5 years because the Division of Motor Vehicle Registration has 5-year licenses. So 5 years came up in '95, and we had to make sure that we could issue licenses that would transcend the millennium. So we've been working on it for a long time. The second phase of our work was to have contingency plans, which is what we're doing now. And the third phase is the emergency preparedness, which is what NEMA does. And we work with FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and with our sister states. In fact, we've already done an exercise with them to make sure that we can communicate and we know each other and we can support each other in the event that we need that kind of help. So I think we're in pretty good shape, but there'll probably be some disruptions.
Well, that's like we were talking earlier, you know, there may be countries out there that, I mean, that they may not do what we're doing. In fact, a lot of them won't be. And I mean, this is a worldwide situation too. It's not just, you know, we're no longer just the United States. It's we're multinational, so I think that's important. I think the other thing that's key to any of you that have a computer, most of you have the Windows, you can go onto the web and you can go to the Microsoft updates, software updates, and you can get free, download free corrections for the Y2K. They're doing that. So I mean, if you have a computer, I would definitely advise that. I've already done it. You know, it's a pain in the neck sometimes watching the download, just say it's never going to end, but I mean, you're getting it for free, so do it, so you're not complaining that you lose everything, because I think people worry about that too. But what would you say, you know, I know that we've talked about water and everything, but what would be the rule of thumb for people, you know? I mean, how many gallons of water should they stock? I know it's a question probably that you say, well, we've heard this 15,000 times, but I think it's important for the public to know out there that they should get some bottled water. You know, should they have a week's supply or 3 days, what?
You may want to get at least a gallon per person, but then the prudent thing to do, of course, would be to fill your bathtub with water just in case you needed to flush your toilets.
Ooh, that's a good point. Now, see, I wouldn't have thought of that. Gosh.
That, you know, just we don't expect that to happen, but
that's a good point, though.
Things like that. You know, just don't make a run on the grocery store, but get canned soups. Peanut butter and jelly is always wonderful. You know, you can survive several days on that.
Right.
If you get water and peanut butter and jelly, you're all set.
All you need.
It's true, a bottle of wine might help.
Right.
Well, yeah, you know,
A candle or two.
Yeah, a candle, a bottle of wine, you know, and we'll have a good time with it.
Well, you get some musical instruments, and really we'll have a great time.
But,
But
that'd be great. Well, I think you
yeah.
have to make fun of it anyway, because you
well,
know.
Mass Emergency Management has got a little handout 8.5 by 11 sheet of some things to consider, like bottled water, like putting water in your bathtub. The Red Cross has a pamphlet out as to some things to look for. We've also looked at Consumers Report came out, I think, in March, with a Y2K checklist of things they said that should be done. could be done. But it's really common sense. And in Bob's area, for example, we have a list of people who are at need here in Burlington, people who may be on respirators, oxygen tanks, things of that sort. But it's prudent for them, too, to look to make sure that their battery backup for their medical equipment is current.
Right.
We're buying extra batteries for our communications equipment here in town. Even though we have enough batteries, we're buying extra just in case.
Sure.
So I mean, just things like that. As you say, you bought several flashlights rather than one.
Yes.
But we think that it's going to be maybe a non-event, but that there will be some small disruptions, and we'll be prepared for them.
Well, just like you said, plan like it's a 3-day snowstorm, and that we went through the winter of, what was it, 78? Was it the snowstorm?
Yep.
I mean, if we can get through that, I think we can get through most anything.
Well, we had I'll never forget, the winter of 78, we had a wonderful time. Of course, everybody's walking up and down the main streets.
Right. Yeah.
We had calls at Town Hall. I mean, of course, we were open because we had to be and coordinate things. People asking why the high school football track wasn't plowed because they wanted to get their running in. We're trying to get people up and down the street, and
Yeah,
so I took that as people were satisfied with what was going on here in Burlington. Now they were looking, why aren't your recreational facilities open?
Yeah, well, they wanted to get some exercise.
Exactly. So we said, well, I think we're doing a good job getting people around town if they're concerned about running on the track.
I think so too. But some of those folders you said, is there any way that the town could get a bunch of them, and if we do have a meeting,
sure, we'll place them around. Sure.
Place them around so that people can. I think people like to feel and touch and see a handout and say, here are the things step by step.
Yep.
I never would have thought of the bathtub thing. I'm sorry, but I think that's a great idea. I thought at first you were going to say drinking water, and I said, as clean as I do my bathtub, I wouldn't drink out of it, So that was kind of scary. What other things are happening as far as this, letting the people know about this in the state or at Leahy? What's happening? Are people contacting you now, or is Leahy doing anything about sending anything out, or?
We had planned on sending something out to our patients in November, just letting them know about our status related to year 2000 and assuring our patients about our ability to continue to provide care. And that's about the extent of what we will be doing to communicate that, other than these kinds of forums.
Yeah, I think these forums are good because, and again, the number here is 273-5922, because people can see you.
Right.
And they feel a lot more secure that somebody is out there watching. There is a face, there is a voice, the state is doing something, and it helps. It really helps.
Actually, our first caller asked us where we were going to be, and I know where I'm going to be. I'm going to be at Leahy Clinic.
Yep.
I think you will be.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you going to be, Val?
I'll be at the MEMA bunker in Framingham.
Okay. And you're going to be
I'll probably be at the police station.
Police station.
Either that or the ball with a beeper.
Yeah, see, somebody asked me if I was going to the ball, and I said, I really don't like New Year's, period, so I'm going to stay home, and I'll have my bottle of wine and my...
Well, I gather that's people now are changing their focus, and the house party and just staying home is perhaps more the de rigueur thing to do this year than going out.
Yeah, and I think on the license thing, like my license is up in the year 2000, and you can get it like a year before, can't you? Or somewhere, that's what I read. So it wouldn't hurt if you had nothing to do and you're worried about your license to go down and get your license. I'm pretty sure you can. I think it was written up in one of the papers. So that you can not have to worry about that. My husband says we won't do any traveling in year 2000. I said, wait a minute. I mean, that's kind of cutting it,
Well, I understand Jane Garvey, who was the FAA commissioner, is going to be on an airplane on December 31st. So
she is.
Yeah, she is, and so.
I don't think I'll be on a plane on December 31st of June, but I think January. There'll be a lot of people heading for Vegas still to celebrate the New Year's, and again, I'm sure that everything's going to be nice, but I'll stick to the house. Let's see, Pat, where you're with the town and everything, and you are in the midst of all this and getting all the questions and everything, I want to go back to what the fire department and the police department are doing as far as Y2K.
Okay, we'll be staffing up with a few more personnel.
Okay.
Principally on the second shift on the 31st, but also there'll be another contingency of firefighters and patrolmen on standby. That will be a beeper away that if something does happen, for example, that we lost all the electricity and we have problems with intersections with traffic lights, things of that sort. That's another thing we have checked is our traffic controllers to be sure that they're compliant, and we've tested those. But so we'll have an additional shift on and additional shifts available to come on if something happens. It's going to cost us a little bit, obviously, and we're denying people the right to, if you're in the public service and you're available for these extraordinary shifts, you're available without having taken alcohol or anything else. So what we're telling some of these men and women is on New Year's Eve, we want you available just in case, and by the way, if you go to a party, you can't partake of alcohol or anything else, because you may be called in a public safety position. So. Similarly, we'll have additional personnel available and on duty in the Public Works Department to watch out for our water and sewer situation. So, in addition, some of the administration of the town, myself, Bob Mercier, will be available. One of the things we settled on fairly early is that we need a focal point of somebody senior in the administration, able to make decisions and make them very rapidly and carry the weight of authority. So between myself and the town administrator, we'll do that.
So Bob will be with you?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, let's talk a little bit, too, about the generators around town. Are you checking all the generators of those?
Yes. We've already done that, and as I said, we've gotten now to the point of getting the extra generators in for portable. Yes. We run all our generators once a week anyway. What we're doing right now is in the compliance stage of physically turning off the lights in the building and making sure the trip-over switches work. That's things we've had problems with in the past. Talking to some of our vendors who maintain our generators, we're wondering whether we should have them on standby also during New Year's Eve. It's a pricey venture, but if an emergency generator goes down and we're unable to start it up very quickly, we'd like the mechanic around that knows the generator intimately to be available. So we think we may get into a situation where we will employ some outside help just in case. So another insurance policy, if you will.
Okay. The other thing on generators, you mentioned that some people will have home generators.
Yeah.
What does something like that cost? Not that I'm going to go out and rush and buy
Anywhere from $500 to $10,000.
Okay.
There's a little teaser line on one of the local cable TV programs, cable TV stations. Somebody, someplace around here, is talking about Y2K compliance and things are going to fall apart, and what it is a pitch for emergency generators. Our biggest concern about emergency generators are two. Number one is the fuel storage.
Sure.
You shouldn't be storing fuel inside your house or in your garage.
Right.
Secondly, if you use your emergency generator, you should have it outside the premises, because that thing is going to exhaust, and if that exhausts into your house, you're asking for problems. So the fire department is extremely concerned about the amount of emergency generators around and where the fuel storage for those generators are. So we think most people that have purchased emergency generators are knowledgeable enough about it, but
I hope so.
But we do want to emphasize again that the fuel should not be stored in your house, and the emergency generator, if it's turned on, should be outside your house so that you're not getting the fumes into the house. And you shouldn't be storing, putting it against a wood structure, things of that sort.
Right.
Common sense rules.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, people that don't understand generators, a lot of them will say, they may have some extra money that they just want to toss away, and they'll say, well, I want to make sure that the house is warm, and we can watch TV or we can do all those things, so I'll take the money and I'll buy a generator. And
well, they'll put the generator in the garage and then start the generator up, close the garage door, and then open the door into the house.
Right. Exactly.
If you're going to use it and put it in the garage, then leave the garage door open.
Yeah.
Things of that sort. And really common sense rules. But I know that the fire department in their education campaign has been very aggressive on alerting people as to the proper use of emergency generators, because people are exposing themselves to either a fire hazard and or a hazard from the exhaust fumes.
Sure. I think you should just get extra blankets and, that, like I said,
bottle of wine.
Bottle of wine and that ought to warm everybody's heart. You could start a little fire in the fireplace.
Right.
I've also heard
Safely.
that generators are becoming rather pricey items. That
Yep.
the $400 generator is now about an $800
Yep.
generator.
Yep.
So,
See, people are making money on it. We have a call. Hello? Hello?
Hi, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, it's Dick. It's Dick Linden.
Oh, hi, Dick. How are you?
Pretty good, not too bad.
Oh, good
while
to
you're
hear
on-
from you.
While you're on the subject of generators, there's one little risk that you have to be very careful on when you buy one of these things. If you connect it improperly, you can possibly backfeed your generator into the inactive power system. And the Edison is extremely nervous about this. If you hook your generator up incorrectly, you can actually run your power back into the system, and if there's a lineman working on the line, he can get hurt.
Wow.
So if you don't hook the generator up with a proper transfer switch, you just best plug a refrigerator or a pump into the generator, but don't in any way try to connect that generator into the main fuse box, because you'll backfeed your power backwards into the line, and then the transformer up on the pole could actually transform that up to 7,000 volts.
Wow. Dick, I'm glad you called because I didn't know about that, and Dick is an engineer, so...
Now, we had a bit of a problem on Montgraham Circle once during a bad storm, and I was running my generator, and the Edison truck came by to repair the high line that broke, and when he heard that putt-putt going in the midst of the night, he banged on the door to be sure that it wasn't hooked up incorrectly.
Wow.
So they've lost a couple of people that way.
I appreciate you calling and letting us know that.
Yeah, it's very important to know how to hook that generator up if you're going to try to power the entire house.
I know what I think, Dick, and I think that people should not, at this point, buy them. Especially, like as Bob said, the price right now for a $400 generator has doubled to $800, and people are taking advantage of the Y2K situation.
Oh, there's no question, because if you go on the internet looking for generators, you'll find that they're all back ordered.
Yeah, see, it's like the Red Sox tickets. We'll be out in the street there with generators,
Well, what happens is you give them a down payment for a generator, and you won't get it until probably January 31st.
Yeah,
So that won't do you much good.
good thinking.
But
So,
it is important, if you people are going to buy a generator, because what they've got foremost in their head is to keep the heat on. It's January. Now, you can't plug your furnace into the generator. It's not wired up that way. It's wired into your fuse box. So if there's any attempt to hook that furnace system into a generator, it could possibly backfeed that into the line. So they really have to get some professional assistance when they try to tie that in there.
thank you very much, Dick. I appreciate that.
Okay.
I think this is why we need a little town
Yeah.
meeting, because
Sure.
people, people that don't get the paper, people that don't have cable, and don't see things like this, and, before you know it, we're going to have the fire department out there taking people to Leahy because of the damage done to bodies here and everything else, so I think that it might be helpful. Could you sum up again, as far as to the state, so that we can give, because we only have a few minutes left, and I just want people to know that it's in good hands because you're the man. You're the point man.
I think the state is in good hands. We've done well. Each agency, each branch of government, the authorities have done a very, very diligent job. The state has spent a lot of money to make sure that our infrastructure, our systems, our facilities are going to be Y2K compliant. Our goal is to be able to get into the new year without missing a beat. We've prepared for it over the last several years. We've had face-to-face conversations. We have a user group meeting every month. We've done lots of publications. We have a website full of information. We've tested our equipment. We've even required agencies to hire an independent contractor to do independent verification and validation of the code that they have, to make sure that a third party will attest to the viability of our systems. We've developed contingency plans. We're right in the process now of exercising those plans, sitting together and going through what we call desktop scenarios, where you actually run through a dry run of what would happen in the event certain things would occur, like you lost power or you have a snowstorm on top of something else or an accident, plus a Y2K issue, how would you respond to it? And those exercises are proving to be very helpful. We've got, we're visiting all the communities in the Commonwealth, make sure that their emergency plans are in order. We're working with FEMA. So I think we're in very good shape. Having said all that, and although I feel very confident that we aren't going to have any major problems on January 1st or 2nd, I believe that as you come to end of week, the first operational day, January 3rd, where everybody goes back to work and our systems are back in operations, at the end of the week, the end of the month, I think there might be some transactions that may have problems, and we should be able to correct them very easily. Our biggest fear at the state level is that people will react and act in a manner that is not normal. That is, if everybody were to pick up their phone, for example, after saying Happy New Year at midnight, if everybody goes to their phone and says, let's check the system, and picks up their phone, guess what? You're not going to get a dial tone, because the system is not geared to handle 100% of the load. It's geared to handle something like 20% or so of the load. So don't all pick up the phone at the same time, please. And if you do, and you don't get a dial tone, wait a while and try it again. Same thing is true for all of the other activities that we're involved in. Normal behavior will mean that the process will work. If you go to an ATM machine and it's not working, it may be that it's just mechanically not working. We're concerned that there's two ATM machines in the lobby and one malfunctions, as sometimes happens when we go to the ATM machine. Everybody will go to the other one and get the cash out and be empty of cash. And the next person that steps up will say, my God, it's an Y2K problem. And it's not. So we just got to be careful that we go into this thing knowing that we're doing pretty well. Normal behavior will get us through it all.
Very good. No panic.
No panic.
Do what you do normally. And I feel very safe now with Leahy Clinic, Bob.
Well, I think Bob had probably the most accurate description of where we are, and that's when he said we're in the process of fitting mittens over gloves now.
Yep.
You know, and I have the same orientation that Val does. I think we are prepared. You know, there may be some minor occurrences. I don't think that there'll be anything major, and we'll be prepared.
Great. I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it from you, Pat,
Yep.
and I look forward to possibly, if you do have a meeting, attending it with you and
Sure.
getting some brochures. And for the people out there, we will keep you informed as much as possible. And in fact, on November 3rd, we're going to have Lee Callahan from the fire department, and we'll talk a little bit about what they are doing there. November 17th, we may get a discussion on PDD to educate people on that particular situation, which we're having problems with. And on December 1st, Voices of Experience again. December 15th, Selectman Forum, George Judge, Bob Mercier. Tonight I have the sad, sad thing to say, in that Darryl Nash is leaving us. He's going to Chicago. All right, and I know I, for one, along with a number of people, will miss him. And we want to wish you all the luck in the world, Darryl. I want to thank all of you for coming tonight. I know you're very busy people, taking this time to come to this show and explain to the people. I really appreciate it. And I'm sure I'll be seeing you again.
My pleasure.
So thank you again. Thank you, Mary Clancy, Mary Lindley, Sue Linder, Darryl. Thank you very much, and good night. And thank you, folks, for watching. And I'll see you in the stores.